Hi everyone, it's Holly. I am back this week and I have another sketch for you. And this time we are going to be doing two really fun things with your 4x6 photos. So I'm going to teach you how to take this one right here and turn it into an interactive, almost like an accordion piece. That's going to be really cool, showing you how to get more pictures onto your page without actually having to scrapbook them. We're going to alter the flip flaps just a smidge in order to do that really fun interactive piece. And then I'm going to teach you how to create a pullout that will also help you get more pictures onto your layout, create an interactive piece, and hide some journaling if you'd like to. So I'm going to drop you down onto my desk and let's start crafting. Here is our sketch that we're going to be working with today, and here are the photos. As many of you know, if you've been following me for the last couple of months, I have been documenting my daughter Anna's 4 years at K College in Kalamazoo, and she's getting ready to graduate this year, so I wanted to make sure that I had her pictures in scrapbooks ready to go for her graduation day, which is in June. And this was her sophomore year, moving into her next dorm, which is Harmon Hall, right down on Academy Street. And I have pictures of her moving in and I have pictures of her moving out. And you're going to notice something really funny, which I totally didn't get until I was looking at these pictures and I'm like, wait a second, was this moving in or was this moving out? Because she and I are wearing the same exact thing. Now that's really hilarious and also sad. Yes, we have more clothes in our wardrobe than just these two pieces of clothing that we're wearing, but it was just so funny because my husband's wearing a completely different colored shirt, but yet Anna and I, this is moving in and this is moving out. We're wearing the same thing. My hair's pulled back, my hair's down, and I was like, wait a second, this is so weird. Anyway, I just had to throw that out because you're going to be like, wait a second, what are these pictures of? That's what they are. Anyway, I've also done my journaling in Canva. I have another video that I will put in the comments down below exactly how I do that. You guys, it's a game changer. It's saving me so much time. And as you can see, I say way more than what I could do with my physical handwriting. So I've really been enjoying using Canva for that. So I have a combination of 4x6s that are vertical and horizontal, and then I have tons of 3x3s. We will definitely be utilizing flip flaps, and I'm so thankful that Stampin' Up! Is now carrying the main sizes that Close to My Heart carried. 4x6s, 3x3s, 3x4s, and 4x4s. So they are going to be utilized a lot. And then I'm also going to be using the mini alphabet because it's like the perfect font for the banner for the title and subtitle that is shown here in the sketch. And I couldn't resist still using the beautiful butterflies bundle with the 3D hybrid embossing folder, and then of course these amazing dies, and of course the photopolymer stamps. And we're going to actually be using these two butterflies, and I'm going to show you just some really quick and easy ways to color those in. And I had tons of paper still left over from Celebration, this amazing Floral Impressions paper. If you got it, it's so fun to create with, and the colors from these pictures were absolutely perfect. So I'm going to pull these out of the way and just show you that I actually still had a small scrap of this left over. So we're going to use this main designer series paper. Everything else is just going to get put aside for the next project. And then I wanted to pull in the cardstocks, the solid cardstocks that I'm going to be using, and then of course this ombre glimmer paper in the pastels that I still have quite a bit of this left over, and I've been using for some of the butterfly images. But we're using Flamingo, Flirty Flamingo, and this happens to be Coastal Cabana because it is so very close to Summer Splash. Basic white and basic black. And you're probably wondering, well, how do you know what colors to use together? Well, this is a really awesome color tool a color coach tool that Stampin' Up! Created, and I simply printed these out at Staples on high quality printer paper so that the colors are really, really bright and vibrant. And then I cut them down into, you can see that there's like dotted lines on here, so it shows you exactly where to cut them. And then I put them onto 3x4 cards of their coordinating cardstock, and then I laminated them. So stay tuned, that will be another video that I'm going to walk you through how I did that. But I love this because it actually shows you for Blackberry Bliss, which is the other color I forgot to mention. This was the main color that I wanted for the background, just because of the colors that are in both Anna and my shirts. I just thought it was so perfect. And then the other colors that were in the pictures just really screamed, you know, what Tom was wearing, and just some of the other colors from the designer series papers, and then some of the colors that were actually in her room. So I thought, you know what, this is going to be really perfect to use. And thank goodness for this color coach, because it told me that Blackberry Bliss, Summer Splash, which Coastal Cabana is very close to, and Flirty Flamingo were a perfect match for that. So that's how I came up with that. Now we are going to go ahead. I'm going to follow the instructions for cutting. The two pieces that are right here, these are the DSP 1 that I'm using. And then the DSP 2 I used down here for these two banners. Oh, I forgot to mention, it's the opposite side of this. And this is what I ran through with the 3D embossing folder, and I'll explain that to you, the hybrid, when we get to that. Like I said, I had some scraps left over. And then for this, we used the Flirty Flamingo, which is going to be cardstock number 2, and cardstock number 1 is this fabulous Blackberry Bliss white. And on my sheet, I'll show you what I used the black for, which was for the title and subtitles. And I think that pretty much covers it. So we are going to go ahead and take this away. I'm going to cut everything and bring up those pieces, and we'll get started with the left page. Here are all of my pieces that are cut out for this page. So let me put them off to the side, and I'm going to explain to you exactly what all of these photo pieces are. But let's get the actual page built. And I've done several videos on how to gut your base page. In fact, I will link that down in the description below so that you can see the process for how to cut that out. But it just helps you maximize the space, and then I can use those pieces from this 10 by 10 that's cut out for the photo mats. And then this is the piece on the sketch. Let me just grab it right here. This is the White Willow. It's the 11 by 11.5, and I am going to go ahead and attach it onto this. And I've given you guys my tips and tricks so many times, I don't want to have to like say it all over again. But what I do is I line this up at the 1/2 inch mark at the top and the bottom, and then I grab that fabulous Take Your Pick tool, which I have around here somewhere on my desk, and it is hiding. Right here, I grab this little guy, and then I come down here at the bottom because I find that I can keep my hand the most steady here. And then I just come under here and I lift up that tear tape, and then I peel that right off, and then it helps that piece stick really nicely. And then I just pick it up and keep turning it. So I'm going to go ahead and get these all lifted up. They're kind of tucked in here because it's a really narrow piece of tear tape that I was using. So I'm just going to keep doing this. I love this Take Your Pick tool. It comes in handy for so many things, not just for grabbing the adhesive off so that you can get your pages down, but I use it for so many other things. Now we are ready to go ahead and attach our banner, and it's going to come right over here about the 1 inch mark. So I'm going to dip my adhesive, and then just line your page up so that everything is straight. And we're going to attach that right there, just like so. And then these are the banner pieces that I cut for this little section up here. So we're going to attach this one first. And it's going to go about right like that. And then these two are just going to get attached right next to them. And it just really helps to tie in all of these colors. Just like that. And then of course we are going to attach these fabulous little butterflies. And I'm going to walk you through how I did those as well. And I'm just taking some of my leftover dimensionals. You know that I like to just use every little square inch. Oh, and look, I've got a little full shape right there, which is going to be perfect for him. And he's going to just kind of be floating right over here like that. And I'll walk you through how I did that in just a minute. And then we're going to build these little guys too. But I want to talk about the photo placement because I did something really fun and I wanted to give you those ideas. So let's get these banner pieces on first. I'm really kind of digressing, but let's get these down here because we need these as the holding points. And then let's talk about how I got that fabulous pattern on here. I took the hybrid embossing folder. And what I did is I first put my paper in here, ran it through the machine, and then I opened this up and then I had to turn it in another direction and then line this up where those two seams were. And then I ran it through again. And guess what? You'll never notice when this is on that these are not going in the same direction. And actually, I think it's kind of fun that they're not going in the same direction. So we're going to attach that piece next. And just be really careful that your tape doesn't tear this because it's such delicate designer series paper, especially after having it run through the machine. It really breaks down. As you can see a little bit of the white. I think that's kind of cool too. But it does break down the strength of the paper. So just be careful as you're doing that. And then we want this about the 1 3/4 inch mark because we want it right near the bottom of this banner, just like that. And then I'm just taking the Flirty Flamingo and it is going to come over here like that, just like so. And now we are going to build our photo mats, and these are 4.5 by 6.5 and then 3.5 by 3.5. This one is going to come and sit right there. And then this one is going to sit right there. And I want to show you that I did something kind of fun. We are creating a pull-out element. And this is going to slide in right behind it. And how I did this, as you can see, I used dimensional. And you're like, well, how did you get it in those strips? Well, Stampin' Up! Sells these amazing foam adhesive sheets, and I cut them with my paper trimmer to fit these spaces. And then I actually took my snips and cut these even more narrow because this is 1/4 inch, and then I took these down to almost 1/8 inch. And I know that they look a little gnarly on the sides, but they're going to do the trick because this piece is going to really easily pull in and out. So we're going to attach this first to the page, and I've already taken off the adhesive back piece, and I had it sitting here on the silicone craft mat, which is just a great tool to have for things that you don't want sticking to other places. And then this was the pull-out piece. It's just another 4 1/4 by 6 1/4 Blackberry Bliss that I cut, and then a 3x4 or 4x6, sorry, white photo mat, and then I trimmed down the photo, and then I've got my moving out journaling done on the back of this. So let's get this lined up like so. Make sure, yes, make sure that the bottom part is where you want it, you guys. Oh my goodness, that would have been really disastrous, wouldn't it have? So now I have this on here just like that, and now I can take this piece and we can slide it right down through. And then isn't that so cool that the butterfly is acting as a catch-all, and now you can see that this piece is interactive and you can pull it out when it's in the page protector, and we will be doing that. And then we're going to attach this photo down here, just like that. Get it right in that place. Perfect. And then I have something fun that I created with the rest of the pictures, because you guys know that I take a ton of pictures. And now, oh, it's right in front of me. Oh my goodness. This is super, super fun. And one of our artisans for 2025, Pamela Blackwell, was a close to my heart maker, and she came over to Stampin' Up! And got chosen to be an artisan, and she just showed how to create this amazing pullout, and I put it in my Crafting with Holly Facebook group, my private Facebook group, but I want to actually walk you through how to do this, because you guys, oh my gosh, this is just so fun. And this is going to reside right here, and we're going to cut the page protector, and I'm going to show you how to get this in to your page protector. So that will be one of the things that I show you near the end. But let's talk about how to do this piece. So I have a 12x6 piece of basic white willow, white daisy, and we are going to put this at the 4-inch mark, and we're going to use the scoring tool, and you're going to gently score, and then you're going to turn this around, or you can move it to the 8-inch mark, but either way, it's at the 4 and 8-inch mark. And then we're just going to take our scoring tool. And let me just get this out of the way so I don't make creases where I don't want them. And then you're just going to accordion fold this, and that's all there is to it. And then you're going to just build your photos on here. And this is where it's going to actually get attached on this side. And then this is the piece that's going to pull out. Isn't that so cool? Cannot wait to show you how to do that. But before we do that, we're going to build the rest of our, we're going to do our title, and we're going to build our beautiful butterfly. And let me walk you through how I created this butterfly. For these beautiful butterflies, I am literally using the Beautiful Butterflies photopolymer stamp set, and we're using the side one and the small one, and I'm just taking the Memento ink, and I am loading this up really well. I'm getting near the end. I need to actually get a refill and refill my pad. I think they just came back in inventory. But if you have Close to My Heart's Intense Black ink, that would work as well. Get those off to the side, and then let me show you how I colored them. So I'm using the Stampin' Blends, and this happens to be the light Summer Splash and the dark Summer Splash, and then this is the Color Lifter. And I noticed that Coastal Cabana is not available in a Stampin' Blend, and that's because the Summer Splash is like the spot-on color for it. So we're going to start with the light. And you could use the brush side or the fine tip side. I love that they're noted on here. The thin line is the fine tip, the wide tip is the brush. And we're going to just do some light feather strokes, and we're going to go all the way out and then come back all the way in. And what's so great about these blends is that you don't have to press really hard to get color out, and you don't have to go right up to the edge because they blend and they kind of bleed a little bit. So just be careful. If you're trying to stay in the lines, don't go right up to the far edge of the black line. It truly will move. Just like that. We'll do the same thing on this one, only this time I didn't go as far out as the edge, because I'm going to show you how to take the color lifter and you can actually move the color out a little bit. And then we're taking the dark, and now we're just going right where we want to add intensity, and I'm just kind of going back and forth and just kind of blending that out just like so. And then the same thing on this one is just add a little bit of color right in here. And then you're going to take the blend, and again, you can use either the brush side or you can use the fine tip side, and I'm just pulling color out just like that. Isn't that the coolest thing? And then for here to kind of lift color and kind of make it softer and lighter, you're just pushing away from where you want to lift the color, and it will start to lighten this. Look at that. It's so cool. And it doesn't ruin the integrity of the brush tip or the fine tip. Look at how amazing that is. And as it dries, it's just going to get lighter and lighter. And if you want more color on the inside, just come back in here and just keep adding more color. It does layer on top of each other, which is super cool. And then I just took the dies, laid them on top, and I used some masking tape right here, some really light stick masking tape. You can also do washi tape if you want, but just be careful with washi tape because it's super, super sticky. And then just line these up where you want them. And you're gonna get a really nice, tight mat. It's not going to be very large at all, so just be careful. And then I'm just gonna run that through my mini die cut machine, and there you go. You have two beautiful butterflies. And then I did take Wink Stella. You can take the clear shimmer brush if you still have it left over from Close to My Heart. And I used that to add that sparkle and shine right here on the inside. And then I also did it over here on the inside of my butterfly, if you can see that as it's in the light. You can see it shimmer a little bit. So now we are ready to take these pieces and get them attached onto our page. We are now going to attach our butterfly and get him onto the page. And I've shown this in one of my other videos. I just use some liquid glue right there. Whoops. And then I line him up so that he matches the placement. And I will also link down below one of the other videos that I did showing you how I created these 3D butterflies. And I love using the adhesive sheets for these type of elements to get these tiny, intricate images onto glimmer paper. And you notice that I did not attach his head because I wanted him to be a little more free on there, but you can certainly pull off that adhesive and have him stick on there as well. And even though he's going to be inside a page protector, I don't care. I just wanted him to look like he's, you know, flying. And then you can decide where you want him to go onto your page, which I think I may want him to go right there. maybe even coming over there a bit. And then let's build the title down here. I cut out my letters using the mini alphabet dies. I've already run them through with the adhesive sheets. Some of them came off their carrier, so I'm going to be careful lining this up where I want it. And then once I get in where I would like him, then I'll put the moving down. And so I want that there. And I think I want to move this in a little bit more because I'm going to use, I believe, that butterfly and then this butterfly down here. So I wanted to make sure I had enough room. Yeah, I think that's how I'm going to do it. And then possibly that, like that. So let's go ahead and get these attached. I went ahead and sped up the pace of this video so that you don't see me painfully trying to get the backing off of those letters. I'm using the Take Your Pick tool, but somehow those little adhesive sheet backings are just a lot stronger than I thought they were. So I am also having to use a little bit of liquid glue and using some dimensionals for the butterflies, whatever it takes, right, to get those to stick on there. And you may find as you're lining up your title that you need to adjust things for spacing, and that's perfectly fine. That's why I love that Take Your Pick tool. One side is that fine tip side, and then the other side is a spatula that you can actually use to lift up things as you're placing them. And you can always use a ruler as well to line things up. I just kind of eyeballed it as I was placing them down, and it worked out in my favor. And then, as you can see, I'm using just a little bit of a liquid adhesive because my O didn't have enough adhesive on it when I cut it out. And that's really all there is to it, to getting your titles onto your pages like this. So now I'm just using some mini dimensionals to get that smaller butterfly in place. And then after I do that, I'm going to move on to this larger butterfly. I'm just still trying to figure out exactly where I want to place it. I'm taking the 3x3 flip flap, getting it where I want it, and then I'm deciding that I'm pretty happy with that spot right there with the butterfly, the larger butterfly. So I'm going to just take some mini dimensionals, stick them down the center of the body because I want it to still be able to appear more dimensional on the page, even though the page protector is going to cover it up. Assembling the right page is a lot easier because once you have all your pieces cut out, we're basically going to line up this basic white to this side. And I'm going to just pull all of those pieces off to the side here. Get my Take Your Pick tool ready so that we can go ahead and lift up the tear tape that's underneath it. I'm just making sure that that's all lined up exactly the way I want it. And then I'm going to just lift up this side ever so carefully. And I feel the page shifting just a smidge, so I want to make sure that that is lined up correctly before I press it down. Looks good. And then I can go ahead and get this out of the way for just a second. Bring these pieces around. Again, just lift up on the tear tape. Pull that out, smooth it down, and then just keep moving your page, or you can just keep moving your mat, whichever works easiest for you. It's always the hardest part, I find, is getting these down. And it did shift just a smidge, but you know what? I'm going to be okay with that. And so the next thing that I want to do is I want to get the measurement of this banner. And I'm looking at it, and it was at 1 3/4 inch. So I'm going to put this back over here. I actually want to get my photo lined up. Let me do that. So here are the photos. Here are the banner pieces. We can get those on. And then this extra piece. So this photo is going to get lined up right here. And let me just take a look at, so sorry you guys, I just find that I like to get my measurements right. So it looks like it's at the 10 1/4 inch mark. So let's get this on here. And for this banner piece for the year and her sophomore, I used the banner piece from the butterfly die set. And it's this smaller banner right there. And wrote on it with my handwriting. Okay, there we go. And we want this flush with the inside, just like that. And then we're going to do the same thing with these two pictures that I already got onto their photo mats. And then this piece is going to go right here. And I just felt like it needed it. It needed some balance from the left side to the right side. So I pulled this in over here. And even though it's just a small piece, it just brings that cohesiveness between the left and the right page. And then these two banners are going to go again at the 1 3/4 inch mark, but that's not going to work because of where I placed my photos. So let's see what we can do here. You know what? We're going to just put it right there, and we're going to be okay with that. That one goes there. This one goes here, and it's going to kind of come over again just like that. Make sure that you guys can see all of this. I've already gone ahead and done the building of my butterfly and getting my dimensionals on here. And this one is going to fly off over here, and we're going to spell and out. So I love that ampersand that comes in that die set. And then I've already gone ahead and taken the backing off of the O, the U, and the T, just to make it a lot easier for assembly. And then I have these precious little butterflies that already have their dimensionals on it. And we want that little guy to be flying that way. And then this little guy is going to be flying over here like that. Oh my goodness, it's so precious. And then I did find that I had another photo, so I'm going to be putting it here, but I need to go match up another one from my thing. I forgot to do that, but that's okay. We will take care of that later. Not a big deal. But let's talk about how to get this interactive element onto your page and how we're going to cut the page protector. Using my top loading page protector, I'm going to go ahead and take the left page, slide it in, making sure that all of these pieces slide in nicely and my seam that's going to go into my album is on the right side. And then I have this little plastic piece that's great for cutting on. It's a self-healing board. And what we're going to first do is we're going to take this and we are going to line it up where we want it on our page protector. And we're going to make a dot here and we're going to make a dot there. And you can either do it with your piercing tool or you can do it with a Sharpie, but I'm going to just make a dot just right there and a dot right there. And I can see them. And then you can either take your page out so you don't damage your page. And I'm going to take this mat just like that. I'm going to get this in all the way, and I can see those two marks that I made. And then I'm going to take my ruler and I'm going to line them right up to where both of those marks are. And you can do one of two things. You can either take a X-Acto knife or you can just open up your snips. And we are going to hold this right there and we are going to cut that page protector just like so. And we're going to just see if that was strong enough. And if it wasn't, you can always go back with your snips and kind of lift up on this and just kind of take your snips and just go back over those perforation lines that you did. Just be gentle that you don't tear the page protector any more than you needed to. I'm just gonna go like that, and there we go. We have our pocket. So now let's slide this down back inside the page protector. Just like that. And then this piece is going to get tucked inside. I can lift it up with my fingers. It's always a tricky thing when you're trying to do this on camera. And we're going to slide that in like so. And we will get some adhesive on there. Don't worry about that. I just want to make sure that the placement of this is exactly where I want it, which it is. And then I will get some adhesive on there. But look at that, you guys. Isn't that just the coolest thing? And I'm going to show you how to cut your flip flap to cover this so that this piece also has some protection on it. I'm not really worried about these so much because they're covered up with the mechanism, but I'll show you how to cut your paper trimmer on that as well. So let's go ahead and get some adhesive on this. This is going to be kind of tricky. You want to take your time, and if you have to, turn your page so that you can hold this very carefully and slide it through ever so carefully, and then we will get this stuck down exactly where we want it in the right position. And voila, there we go. And now he is in there really well. So now take your flip flaps. Let me see where I put mine. I've got everything, trying to stick it all out of the way. And so here's the flip flap. And what we're going to do is we're going to cut off, right? Do you see where the flip flap, the opening is? We're going to cut this whole thing off with our paper trimmer. So I'm going to bring in my paper trimmer. I'm going to get it exactly where that seam is. Trying to look so that when I cut this, it's a one and done kind of thing. So we're going to cut that off just like that. This is going to go in the garbage. And now this is going to go, whoops, let's turn it around. And you could do some 3M tape in the corners if you want, just to make sure that this flip flap doesn't come off. Whoops. I don't know what those little guys are doing there. little leftover pieces from my butterflies. Let me get this lifted up because I think it's got a little bit of adhesive on it. And look at that. There is our flip-flap element. And now it has a protective layer on it. And it becomes this fabulous mechanism. Isn't that just the coolest thing? And then we're going to go ahead and take this flip-flap. Whoops. Lots of bits and pieces on this. We're going to pull off that piece. If I can get it off. And then stick this right onto the white mat. Just like that. And there we go. So now we have a flip-flap going in that direction, and then we have this fabulous pull-out going in the other direction. And then, if that wasn't enough, we have this amazing pull-out with more hidden journaling that you can also extend your project and not have to feel like you have to scrapbook everything. I hope that you guys enjoyed this project as much as I did for a fun Friday, and I cannot wait to see what you guys create with it.